Well, hi guys, Dr. John Bennett here, and I'm a chiropractor and a doctor of functional wellness. And in this video, I want to share with you a few concepts to help you better understand and deal with the effects of fibromyalgia. Now, as with most non-contagious conditions, fibromyalgia is caused by a lack of proper function of one or more of the systems in the body, which is either indirectly or directly caused by stress. Now, that stress can be physical in nature, such as maybe a slip or a fall or an accident, maybe an automobile accident or a sports-related injury, even an abnormal posture that's not corrected. It can be chemical in nature, things like a diet that's poor in good quality foods, or maybe chemicals that you're taking in your body, and over consumption of alcohol or medications. And in some situations, it can even be emotional, from emotional traumas or just everyday stresses we deal with life. The key is finding the underlying true culprit to get relief, which is stress, and then help the body in responding to and recovering from that stress. Now, when it comes to fibromyalgia, you want to reduce the inflammation that's taking place in the body. Now, that inflammation can have many different sources, and yet all of them are again linked back to the common cause of stress. Sometimes it can even be caused by an autoimmune reaction where the body begins to attack itself due to an underlying trigger. And in these cases, it's a must that you support the immune response of the body and help regulate the immune system so that the body can deal with that underlying trigger. Fibromyalgia can also be caused by a dysfunction of the musculoskeletal system, such as a weakened or laxed ligament structure from, let's say, traumatic experiences or injuries, again, like the sports-related injury, the auto accident, or that abnormal posture I talked about that's been left uncorrected for a long period of time. Often people don't realize, though, that emotional trauma, or emotional situations can create hormonal imbalances and cortisol imbalances in our body, which can lead to ligamentous laxity as well. And so then we got to figure out that underlying cause and how do we begin to deal with it. So we see there's a variety of different things. So let's look at the three-step approach that I'd like to share with you on dealing with some of the underlying causes of fibromyalgia. Let's first look at what we eat. What we want to be consuming is an anti-inflammatory diet. So first of all, we got to remove the things that cause inflammation. The biggie here, sugar. Sugar is huge. White breads, white rice, white potatoes, processed or man-made foods. They all have sugar, higher sugar content, and they say that sugar is like dumping gasoline on a brush fire when it comes to inflammation. Also, try to remove the big four. The big four are corn, soy, wheat, and dairy. Just do it for 30 days and see what happens. It's amazing what people report when they get those things out of their diet for a while. Oftentimes, people are sensitive to or allergic to these foods, and they don't even realize it. Now, let me tell you, the easiest way for you to find out if you do have a sensitivity or an allergy to one of these foods is keep a log. See, everyone's unique. Right? My triggers are different than your triggers. So the easiest way is for you to write down what you eat and then write down how you felt afterwards. You might be able to tolerate those foods and they might not be an issue for you at all. But keep a log and then you'll figure it out. Now, we need to be consuming the anti-inflammatory diet, which is a diet that's rich in veggies, it's rich in good quality fats, and it's very good in protein. And we'll talk about some of those proteins here in a second. But those will be things like fish and eggs and even grass-fed beef occasionally. These are all super important for healthy function in the body. Now, when it comes to that anti-inflammatory diet, one of probably the key components to it are foods that are rich in omega-3 fats. Those are things like wild-caught salmon, halibut, mackerel, even wild-caught tuna. And I tell clients to eat these at least 3 to 4 times per week. Make them part of your diet 3 to 4 times. Also, if your body can handle it, you might want to consider adding nuts and seeds, like flax seeds or walnuts or even chia seeds. All of these are very good sources of omega-3 fats and awesome for your diet if you can handle them. The next step for you would be to eat more veggies and fruits. Things like dark green leafy vegetables, Brussels sprouts, beets, kale, collard greens. Even berries on the fruit end are very good for fibromyalgia. Now, I always like to use the rule of thumb, 2 to 3 times the veggies as you're consuming fruit, because fruit can be high in fructose, therefore pushing those sugar levels and causing more inflammation. Now with veggies and fibromyalgia, oftentimes the gut lining tends to be inflamed, so I always recommend steaming or sauteing your veggies instead of eating them raw. What this will do is allow you to better absorb the nutrients from the foods that you are consuming instead of getting them in their raw form. So let's look at step 2, which is supplements. And there are several I recommend, so what I'd like to do is just share a few of them with you today. Boswellia, turmeric, ginger, and celery seed. They're all anti-inflammatory in nature, and they help support the natural inflammatory process or response of the body. Now, I like to do them in a one product where it combines them all. It's called Boswellia Complex from MediHerb, standard process. The nice thing about this is not only is it combine them all in one, but when you take this with those omega-3 fats that I talked to you about, it's 5 times more effective. So oftentimes people say, well, look, I don't like to eat those particular type of foods. Well, that's fine too, because you could always turn around and take an omega-3 fat supplement so that Boswellia is 5 times more effective. Next would be vitamin D. We all know vitamin D helps increase the body's immune response, but it's also very helpful in hormonal production pathways of the body, which can help stabilize that ligamentous laxity. Next, you want to look at B-complex vitamins, which support blood sugar, brain and spinal nerve function. But I'm going to warn you, not all B-complexes are created equal, so you always want to look for a food-based B-complex, and better yet, one that's in the base of liver powder. Step number 3 is going to be corrective chiropractic care. You know, I spoke about ligaments that become too loose, and when this happens, the muscles become tight. They can go into spasm because they're trying to do their job of moving the body, plus the job of the ligaments of holding things tight. And when it leads to this muscle spasm, it will ultimately lead to the cause of the vertebra misaligning, which puts pressure upon your nerve system. Now, when this happens, your body's not going to function right. You're going to have an increase of pain and dysfunction. Symptoms are going to get worse with you. You're going to see your overall health decline. So corrective chiropractic care can help decrease the muscle spasms. It can help restore proper nerve function, and it can correct those specific postural patterns of the body that are created by the ligaments becoming too lax and the muscles too tight. So remember the 3-step approach when we're dealing with fibromyalgia and the underlying causes of stress. Number 1, follow the anti-inflammatory dietary guidelines as shared with you. Number 2, try some of the natural food-based supplements that I spoke about. And then number 3, get to a chiropractor that does corrective spinal work. Look, if you want to learn more, go to our website, drjohnbennett.com. Reach out and get connected with us so we can keep you up to date on the latest information on health and wellness and the tips that we want to share with you. Thanks again for watching.